Hello everyone, I'm Kailoto, and we're back with episode 5, is it? My god, of this Opus Magnum Let's Play. We're at chapter 3, looks like about halfway through the story, and House Van Tassen has fallen. Captain Gelt is dead, and the young Taro Colvin has at least indicated a desire to kill the rest of the bloodline, including Armand and Frederick. Don't know yet if that actually happened, if any of them escaped with their lives. Seems unlikely. But one way or another, we're out of a job. So, we're here at the Downriver Quarters. It's an interesting looking place. Definitely not great housey, if I should say so myself. So, guess we're about to find out what's become of Ignatius and Concordia. Discarded paper. Certificate of licensure. Ignatius Via. Alchemist Doctorate. House Van Tassen. Pursuant to the Second Imperial Law concerning alchemy and duly promulgated amendments, the Imperial Alchemists Guild hereby issues a license for the practice of alchemical engineering to the above personage in the service of the stated august house. And then you get a bunch of seals at the bottom. I like it. So that's sort of representative of our... It's like a certificate of our time to work, and also just a token now of the past. I wish we had gone back. It was clear there was no choice for us. How I wish we could have, though. If at least Frederick had survived, there would be some small hope that Van Tassen line could continue. Yeah, so they're all dead. It's too late for that. We should be thinking about what to do next. There's nothing next. Don't you understand? Nobody will want to risk dealing with us. We'll live the rest of our miserable lives in hiding. I should have gone back and died with them. Concordia. Aren't you mad too? Mad? I don't know. I'm not sure we deserve anything else after how poorly I defended the house. My career as an alchemist is in ruins. What a worthless pursuit this has turned out to be. Maybe it would be better to forget it all. Listen, Ignatius, do what you want, but I know the only next step for me is revenge. I don't know yet how I'll achieve it, but that's the purpose of my life now. Is that another of the ways of the houses? Honor, treachery, swearing, revenge? No, this is about me wanting to put a dagger through the heart of those Colvin wretches. How could they be so heartless? Concordia. I'm going to step outside. I know it's dangerous, but I need to take a very long walk. Wait, Concordia. What? I was just going to say that, well, whatever it is we decide to do, we'll definitely need supplies for the transmutation engine first. I'll come with you. Alright. So we're probably taking off some small jobs now. Alcohol separation, maybe for a pub or some civilians down here. Before you ask, no, this gin is not because I'm taking things poorly. It's for alchemy. I wasn't about to ask. It's a rather brilliant scheme, actually. I'm going to isolate individual elements from the alcohol. It's essentially the reverse of the process I used earlier when... Ignatius. Yes? Don't ever give up alchemy. Oh. Well, at least he's still passionate about something. Alright. Van Berlo's wheel. By using Van Berlo's wheel with the glyph of duplication, neutral salt can be turned into any of the 4 cardinal elements. Because it is typically only used if an alchemist cannot otherwise access one or more of the 4 cardinal elements, Van Berlo's wheel is sometimes called the alchemist's last hope. So, this is probably this is something I'd seen in Codex of Alchemical Engineering. I don't know if I've ever explained this fully before, but there was like a Flash game that this was based off of, and it was basically alchemy with the same sorts of elements and promotions and relationships with some small differences, and obviously a lot less polished. And there was a sort of like expansion, I guess, of like user-made levels that were really difficult, you know, sort of like an ultimate challenge for them. And it was called Magnum Opus Challenge, the Magnum Opus Challenge, and it had something very similar to this. It had like, I don't know, the Baron Wheel or something it was called, and like it was just like you'd hold on to it and you'd rotate it and use the glyph of duplication to like make more of the element you need. But here it seems things are a little bit different, since it's an actual thing that you just put in. And yeah, I guess the thing with it is just that, like, because we are no longer part of an august house and we don't really have access to the distilled elements, we're able to just take salt and use that as well. So this will be interesting. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there we go. 30 gold only, not much. And where's that glyph of duplication? There we go. So this is, we put salt, we put an element right here, and we put a salt one right here, and then like it'll move, it'll duplicate it. Pretty simple. And so what we're gonna have is we're gonna have alcohol right here. There's the we made this, I believe, last chapter. It looks like this sort of water element with like a fire radical, if you will, for like fire water in a sense. That's basically what alcohol is. And we need to make the 4 cardinal elements out of it. So I guess we're making supplies for ourselves, right? These are the 4 elements in their purest form. We have 4 atoms, elementals, in the input. So water and fire are just already next to it, and then we need to convert one of these to air and one of these to earth. So we're gonna have to use a glyph of unbonding at least one. And yeah, I believe that's all that we'll really need to take care of right now. Optimizing this one might be really interesting because there might be a few. You'd probably have to use like multiple Baron wheels just fixed in their positions and sliding things all over the place, breaking bonds left and right, and just shunting things into the respective products. But for now, we're just going to try a simple solution using a single Baron wheel, single duplication. We'll just do it one at a time. So might be a bit slow, and I'm not optimizing for area or cost, but it should turn out to be pretty interesting. So I'll catch you later. Okay. I think I might have it. Who knows? We'll see. Very slow because this arm's doing a lot of work, but hopefully this should run well enough. Whoops. Okay, a little bit too early on that one. I have to wait. Should have dropped it. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's looping around. I'll have to make it wait. That I should do that maybe. That might interrupt, but we'll see. Pretty close to the solution here. Nope, it's working. Alright. Alright. This is definitely doing things the hard way, but oddly, it's kind of fun. Good thing Good thing there's plenty of cheap alcohol to be found around here. Unfortunately, alcohol only gets us part of the way. We need base metals, too. Securing a large quantity of metal without raising questions? That'll be far more difficult. I'll have to come up with some kind of plan. I have some ideas. Water purifier. Is that a glass of water from the river? How do you guess? That lovely gray cover was a giveaway. You weren't going to drink it, were you? We're going to need water if we're to remain here for the time being. I know you've never been in this part of the city before, but really, look at that. Right. Well then, I'll fix it. Gonna have to purify that water. So apparently we're just living off our own. We don't have any jobs or anything. We're basically just holed up in a shack somewhere with some spare funds or something, and we're getting all our raw materials and we're relying on alchemy to have drinkable water. The state of things. Alright, so this is our product. Water purifier. And we are taking in 2 elementals, air and water. So we're making a purifier, basically. And we've got to make this giant thing. And I'm thinking like one of the most effective ways of doing that will be to use a glyph of multi-bonding. And, you know, just like throw that into the middle there, and then like poke, add some here. We could do it radius by radius, like radial wise, like attach one each. You know, that might actually be easier. I think it'd be a lot slower, but it'd be kind of easy and maybe look cooler in a sense. So I'm gonna try that. I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay, I think I've got it. Let's give it a watch. Oh, a little bit too... Oh, it's my problem. Should have sent that back. Okay, one more go. Alright. And you could probably use some variation of this that's a lot more compact to like do low cost or low area designs. You can imagine ways to turn this into something where there's like just very little area. Alright. There. Care for a sip? Why doesn't the great alchemist sample his own work? Because I'm sure it's right. What a coincidence! I'm sure it's right too. You're no fun at all. Well, here I go. Well, it's fine. Water. Slightly sour. Sour. Somewhat bitter, too. It'll have to do for now. I'm going to get back to work. The thief. Do we have a deal? It's an intriguing proposal. But the old Van Tassen compound is far more difficult to get into now that Colvin occupies it. Their guards are far more vigilant. Believe me, we know. Concordia and I barely escape with our lives. Just get me inside. I can take it from there. It's a little more complicated than that. The item we need isn't something you can carry on your person. It's a shipment. Specifically, a shipment of lead ore. I see. I'll supply you with a shipping order, but it still needs a seal. You'll have to find a real order and take the seal from it. Okay, and then I suppose I'll impersonate a supply officer and simply take the shipment down the river to you. Exactly! That's somewhat more fanciful than I expected. On the contrary, it's as feasible as they come. Practically a walk in the park for someone of your caliber, right? And don't forget, we'll supply you with the best equipment you'll find anywhere. If I'm to make you this gold, I'll need the lead. That's how alchemy works, after all. Gold, yes, I do like a bit of gold. Pulling this off and... Pull this off and you'll have more than just a bit, I promise you. Alright. Oh jeez. So, we're trying to steal some lead from the old Van Tassen compound. And it looks like right now we're creating materials for this thief so that they can pull off their heist. And he's gonna bring us a giant shipment of lead, which, you know, won't really be missed, I assume, but it's very useful for us for alchemy because that's a base metal and we can make all the other metals out of it. Alright, seal solvent. Let's see what that is. Affixing the seals to orders and invoices was always such a chore. The thought of undoing one is a little thrilling. Yes, what a bold and daring rebel you are right now. The seals are complex, but the glue isn't. A weak point in this system. Surprising that hadn't been taken advantage of before. Maybe it has been. The Van Tassen stocks were never very closely tracked. Armin didn't care much for the details, I'm sorry to say. If nobody misses it, is it really stealing? Spare me the philosophizing, please. Oh, jeez. So this is a seal solvent. Some gangly looking thing. And we're going to need to make... Oh boy. So, this part right here is... We've got apparently some spare lead around. And we're just creating tin out of that. So that's just quicksilver and lead right next to each other. And that takes care of that part. And then with this one little water elemental, we're going to create a chain of 3 salt and the water itself. So probably build like a chain, run it through calcification, then like push it out somewhere to be bonded. I'm coming up with ideas. Alright, catch you on the other side. Okay, I think I've got something. Let's see if this works. The idea here is to take that elemental water and just kind of loop it around here and calcify it as much as we can, and then once we've got that, we can just bring these, which has already been over here, bond it together, drop it down. I could probably make a really area efficient design with this same setup, just like combining some stuff and moving things around so it like works better and like fewer arms are used. But for now, let's watch it run. Oh, there we go. Brilliant. I like it. It's working just as planned. Considering how many times recently I've had problems when setting things up, it's good to know that this is just working. But I kind of was like, I think it'll do this, and it did. It seems a solvent like this would have applications well outside of the specific mission we've discussed. You can keep it. Wait, you're sure? I'm not planning a life of crime. Just the one crime. One or two. Once you start down the road, it's hard to go back. Not that I've tried. Alright, what time are we looking at? Can maybe do one more for now? It's probably a good idea. Don't want to run too long. Climbing rope fiber. This is vexing. When we were still at House Van Tassen, I could supply you immediately with any length of rope. And a variety of widths and colors, too. I hardly need anything so extravagant. I can make something better anyway. You don't need to create everything. Anatius. No, it's fine. I have an idea for how the fiber should work. It's possible the alchemist is rather enjoying himself. Yeah, I get that sense too. I could solve it with alchemy. Alright, so this is our product, climbing rope fiber. It's another sort of infinite length thing. Just put it right here. And we've got a single reagent, just the water or earth elemental. And I suppose we're to create like this bit, see, because it's bonded. If you look, the thing that's repeated infinitely is like a salt, earth, salt again, and so if we can create that component and then just like bond it with the previous stuff, then it should work pretty good. So yeah, can't see exactly how I'll do that yet, but it should be pretty easy compared to some of the other stuff that we've done. So I'll get to it. See you later. Okay, I think I've got something working here. Let's give it a watch. The idea is here to use these like 3 rotating arms on this track, which is apparently something I really love to do, just have arms rotating around on a track. They come in and kind of like build it right here and push it down to, I believe, like right here, and then this arm will pick it up, just push it that way. Maybe, actually, I can already see a problem. If this arm pushes it down, it's gonna bond. Here, I'll show you. Like, the first one will be fine, but the second one, see, it'll bond like that, and we don't want that. It'll do this weird thing. So, I have to figure out a way to, probably what I can do is I can just move this over here. One more over. Whoops. And then do the same thing except like that. This should work. So let's give it a watch. There we go. It's working well. Nice. Wow, that's like pretty good in terms of area. If I can knock that down by like 5 more, which isn't that much, I can probably do this, get into that tiny lowest bar, which, yeah, that should be pretty doable just because, like, I've got the rotating arms that I can remove and just let them run, and, you know, smaller, easier ways to make sure that we're covering it, but yeah. Who knew that creating rope fiber could be so fascinating? It's not something I imagine they teach at alchemy school. Strong and resilient, light and easy to carry. I say a better rope has never before been created. He's really quite absorbed. It's a shame most alchemists think work like this is beneath them. Imagine how different the world would be if we applied ourselves to problems like this one. Ah, I like that message. So far we've seen lots of messages that alchemy is like a noble art that's meant for, you know, rich and royals and to steer the course of humanity. It's very illustrious and opulent and sort of, I don't know, high class. But yeah, it's basically science, and what would we do if we lived in a world where science was not used for the general betterment of mankind, but instead just by the rich? I mean, we kind of already live in that world to some extent, but definitely on this sort of world, it seems to be quite pronounced, the divide, considering there's like terrible water in the river and perhaps not the best living conditions for most people, and meanwhile the houses are sitting nice and rich. So yeah, that was good. That was fun though. I think we're out of time. When we come back, we'll finish up these 3 problems and probably figure out, head into the next chapter. We'll see what the deal is there, what our eventual plan is. It's getting interesting. I like it. I like this new thief character. Don't think I have much else to say, really. Hope you're enjoying it. It's gonna get more fun from here on out. Alright, well, see you in episode 6, hopefully. Kailoto, out.